All right, we're going to get started in about 25 seconds. We're going to start about 25 seconds. So find your seats, get your food, get comfortable. We've got an agenda for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get started. If I can have your attention, or at least be silent, so I can appreciate it.
Can you all hear us like this? Is this better or is that better? This is better, right?
How's this? They can't hear me online if I use the microphone. Is this better? Control the echo. For those of you that have not met me, my name is Tyler Hardy. I'm Senior Director of Development at the Detroit Housing Commission. We are here before you today with some exciting projects. So last time we met, we went through the design. We promised you that we'd be back before you to show you the difference of how the design has evolved over time. And while we fix that, I'm just going to yell. We also have our relocation specialist here. So we're receiving a lot of questions about relocation and have specialists here, and that's where we're going to spend the bulk of our time so that you can understand the next steps in the process. But before I hand it off to them and we get started, I just want to give you a few updates to make sure that we don't skip over those. Okay? So first and foremost, as we lead up into the relocation discussion, I just want to remind everybody about the full site composition. I want to remind everybody about how we're phasing each of the sites and what to expect in each phase. So this is Parkside today. And this map, we're looking at the current configuration, which shows yellow, that's vacant land. The blue is Parkside 2. So we've got residents living in Parkside 2. We've got purple, more vacant land, and this orange color, Parkside 4. Residents living in Parkside 2 and Parkside 4. So this map is going to show you why because when you see coming here Parkside 1, a half of that sliver is phase 1 of the project. And so residents of both Parkside 2 and Parkside 4 are moving directly into this first phase. Now, as a reminder, we're doing it that way, one, so that we can accommodate everybody in one move. We are building enough units in this first phase to make sure that we can move everyone all together. Now, we also talked about, before I jump into that, I'm going to show you the total of all the phases. So the first phase, 160 units. The second phase will get built shortly after that, and we're hoping to start at around the same time, 54 units. Phase 3 is another 54 units being added. Phase 4, another 54 units being added. And then phase 5, we get 162 units being built. So, what does that mean across the entire project? It's a total of about 484 units. About 200 of them are brand new to the site. So we are creating more affordability on top of the existing affordability on site. I guess before I hand it off to Nathan, I'll just say that, if you remember, we talked about phase 1. Last time we talked about the 160 units with phase 1. We talked a little bit about some of the design constraints and some of the decisions that were made in order to make sure that we could move everybody at once. We understand that the townhomes are very important to the residents as we engage each of you throughout this entire process. We have learned from you the importance of the townhomes, and so the townhomes are incorporated across the entire site. There will be enough townhomes built across this entire development for everyone that wants a townhome to be able to get a townhome. So, and because there are only 160 units able to be built in this first phase, the criteria for how town was selected, we're gonna dive into in just a moment. I'm gonna hand it off to our partner at Janasco to recap the design that we talked about last week.
Okay, for those that haven't met me before, I'm Nathan Boyd with Janasco Development Company. I think I've met most of you before, but I'm excited to be able to introduce our relocation team in a minute. But before I get into that, we want to talk about what we discussed at our last meeting. One of them, I can't remember who it was, someone said, hey, you're giving all this feedback, can you please tell us what you do with it? Are you taking it into consideration? Can we find out what you've done with it? So we've gone through multiple design discussions with you. We had the community engagement event where we had all the different stations, if you remember, all throughout this building, and the architect helped ask for your opinions as they continue to modify the design and the master plan for the site. And I want to just come back to you today with a bit of an update on the information that we collected last time and what it means for the design moving forward. So if you recall, the architect had a couple of key questions about building colors. They had a couple of key questions about what types of trees we would want around the campus. They also had questions around what type of outdoor amenities that would be incorporated in the site, so playgrounds versus more active play. Sorry. And so all of these things, as you can see on the screen, I guess for people on Zoom, if they're already on Zoom, you can see, we've actually taken all of that feedback and incorporated every single recommendation from the residents into our design so far. Now, this is on top, this is just for the last meeting. Everything before the community engagement meeting where we collected all the resident feedback into the master plan, we came back to you with another option on the master plan that provided even more townhomes into some of the future phases. That was also incorporated. So we've done a lot to incorporate security, building features, building typologies. We've incorporated things like fences and playgrounds and colors. All these things we've collected from you and are putting into the designs of these buildings. We can get you these slides. That was also a recommendation was to get you all of the presentation and handout materials in physical instead of just electronic copies. So we are going to have these available for you here at the community center in the coming days. We'll print out all of this presentation so that you have exactly what's on the screen, so that you can have interaction with what we've heard from you, what colors you like, we've heard from you what in the outdoor spaces, and I think those are the key questions that were asked in the last meeting that have now been incorporated into the what you can see here is kind of the next iteration of the phase 1 area, our new phase 1. You can see some of the planning now as we're moving into the phase 2 and phase 5 areas, and you can see that there are what you can't see in color, but you'll see when you get the hard copies is all of these are townhomes, all of these are townhomes, all of these are townhomes, and all of these are townhomes. And so we're taking what we're doing in phase 1 and we're now replicating it throughout the rest of this area north of Frankfurt. So when we talk to you about how we are hearing you and we're incorporating those were all different buildings before. We're now changing them to meet your needs and your desires for the town. So those are all coming. The good news is we have funding for all of those. These are not like speculative years down the road. These are buildings that will be built in sequence right behind the first project that we're going to get started here in the fall. The other thing that we were asked to do was to kind of show how the progress of the phase 1 area has come from the first time that you saw it, which is on the left-hand side. The first time that you saw the phase 1 area, there were no townhomes left. It was 4 or 3 4-story buildings with 150 is in hard copy so that everyone can have it afterwards. And then we can continue that discussion in the future. But what we're really here to talk about today, what we talked about at the last meeting, we said we're going to come talk about was finally we have a relocation specialist on the board. And so I am happy to introduce Housing to Home as our relocation specialist. I know many of you have had questions from day one about what the relocation will look like, the process, the detailed questions that you have, which are great questions because they impact your everyday life. They are here to now help answer all those questions and work with you and your household on getting ready for moving sometime in really the fall of next year when these first phase 1 units are available. So I'm going to introduce you.
So my name is Katie. I'm one of the owners and founders of Housing to Home. I'm joined by Nisha and Allison, and this is what I do 7 days a week. We help people move into their new homes. I do this all over the country, and the great part about being in Detroit is that we have a lot of staff and a lot of experience here. I'm not just saying it because I'm here. Detroit is one of my favorite cities, very similar to a city that I grew up in. So thank you all for having us in your community. Do people have a lot of questions? Do people have a lot of questions? I'm going to talk for a few minutes, and then we're just going to open it up for some questions and answers. Does that sound fair? Great. So we're a women business enterprise, which I like to say, so women own the business. And like I said, we do this all over the country. We are going to be here every step of the way to talk with you, to get you packing materials, to get you all packed up, to use licensed bonded movers, to move you into your new home, to help you connect all your services, to help you get settled, make sure everyone's good, and then we'll be out. So, sound fair to everyone? You're not going to be alone in this process at all. We're going to help you every step of the way. We really appreciate and encourage you all to include friends and family. A lot of times when we're working in a community, folks will have their neighbors involved. We really encourage that. If you have any reasonable accommodations or special accommodations you need, we're there for it. If you need a particular language, anything like that, we're going to help you get packed up and moved into the new home. So, what to expect? That sounds fair, right? Okay. So, what to expect is we're going to have on-site staff folks that are here. They're going to meet with everyone one-on-one, and that is not to be nosy. It's not to pry on a very private person and respect that of others. We're just going to want to get into your home, to meet you, and to look at your home so we can best get you moved to the new home. Okay? So when we have someone on site that will be here months before your move, and they're asking to meet with you and to understand what's going on in your home, they're just doing it to make it as easy as possible for you. So if you have certain services you need to get disconnected, if you have a fish tank, if there's a certain day of the week that works best, if you have kiddos that we need to be thinking about, anything like that, you're going to let us know. Okay? So we'll get on site, we'll meet with everyone. We're going to give you at least 90-day notice, and that will be saying, hey, this is going to be your move day, this is the company that's going to be moving you, here's some ways to plan and prepare. So you get a 90-day notice, you get a 30-day notice. That's just to get you ready. You're going to be sick of us by the time you move. We'll be dropping off boxes and paper and tape. You'll be saying you need some more boxes. We'll drop off some more. We're going to walk through the movers. You're going to say, Katie, make sure they don't touch this. Or, hey, I want to disassemble the bunk beds. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch the bunk beds either. So we're going to work with you all on that. And then on move day, you're going to know us. We won't be strangers. We'll be there overseeing the movers. We'll be making sure everything gets packed up. We'll make sure you get you to your home. You're probably going to call us the next day. You can't find some items. We're going to help with that. We'll make sure all the services are transferred. And when I say services, if you have prescriptions that are delivered and you need us to help figure out how to go to the new address, all of that we're going to help with. And then we'll make sure that you're good and work with the next family. I got stuck to one Is this presentation? So the question is the presentation on the website? It will be. And I'm more than happy to give my personal cell phone to anyone in the room. Not kidding. Yes. You need my cell phone? Okay, cool. Nisha, can you grab my cell phone? Thank you. What's your name, ma'am? Angela? I'm Kate. Nice to meet you. Yeah. What else have we got? Yeah, so the question is, do we have a choice to where we're going to be relocated? And if it's okay with this group, I'll just say where you're moving to, if that's okay, because everyone's moving to a new home. So when we meet with you one-on-one in that first meeting that I was talking about, we're going to ask you questions that's going to make us be able to make the best match for you. So I'm not sidestepping the answer, ma'am. It will just be based on what you're telling us and what the needs of the families, your family is, and we'll make that match. And we will work with you if it's not a good match to figure out making it a good one. Does that make sense?
And one of the reasons why when these are built, these new houses, are we allowed to come in?
Yeah, so the question I think, ma'am, is once you leave your building and you move out of there, are you allowed to come back into your apartment?
No, I believe we leave out the valley. Because we're going to move, right?
Yeah, but you're going to move directly into the new building. Yeah, which is why I was saying let's call it moving, because in my world, relocating is different. You all are moving from current homes into the new home. And this is still going to be here? Yes, and the new building is still going to be here. Yeah. No, that's fine. Yep, great.
So, and I just want to go back a little bit. I just want to make sure we're super clear. Let's go back to the answer.
We're not
Right here.
It's obvious we're not here, so we're going to be even.
So this is all Parkside. We're standing within this footprint right now. So what we are proposing is we're rebuilding everything here. So the existing buildings that you live in will be demolished so that we can rebuild this entire Parkside all of it. So that's part of the reason why we have to move everybody together at once in that first phase, because the townhomes that you're living in need to be torn down so that we can rebuild. Can you go back?
Is this helpful, ma'am? Tyler's going to show you where we are now and then where that new building will be.
Can you look on this map? So you're in Parkside 4 here, right? So we have residents in this area of the site, we have residents in this area. It's like we're currently standing right here. So what we're saying is, in order to rebuild all those townhomes that we're promising everybody to have an opportunity for, we have to tear these down so we can actually build the townhomes for you to move into. In order for us to build those townhomes, we have to move you into what we're building right here first, right? So what we're building first here are 2 apartment buildings and a group of townhomes to be able to accommodate everyone on this side of the site. Once we get everybody on this side of the site, we can start to build the townhomes all down here. And so what you'll find as part of this relocation process, you might end up in your forever unit now,
the case. So this is fun to be able to work with you all. Other questions? Ma'am, are you good? I'm trying to be like a little longer there. Other questions? Yes?
Okay, in the units, I don't know if this is a question for you, I'm just gonna.
It's okay, shut it off, I'll answer it.
In the units, they had told us, at the beginning, that each unit would have washers and dryers. Is that going to be in the units?
Yeah, so the question is, in each unit, at the beginning of this process, residents were told they would have washers and dryers in the new units, homes, is that right? Is that accurate? That's a thumbs up by me. That's correct.
But in our apartment building, they
So the question is it shared laundry within the apartment building? And Nathan's gonna answer.
So in the apartment units, there will be washers and dryers, but there will also be a shared laundry room in the larger building as well. So you'll have both in the apartment buildings, you have washers and dryers. There'll be both washers and dryers in the unit and shared laundry, if you need it for large items.
Wow, okay, I think that might be the first time I've heard that be the answer to that question. Right? All right, yes, ma'am. When does this start? So the question is, when does this all start? When are we moving into the new building?
Is the question about the relocation team meeting with you and when that's starting or when the construction will start? Okay, yeah, so for construction start, we told you last meeting it was going to be September of this year. That's still on the plan. We'll start construction on the new phase in September. And then about a year after that, we'll have units available to move to when those buildings are ready. As far as when the relocation meeting starts,
Yeah, we'll be meeting with you all several months before you move. You'll see us probably 4 to 6 months before that's even started. Can you go first? So the question is, can you go first? And I laughed, but I shouldn't laugh. Once we start meeting with you, we're just going to go a few more questions and then we can disperse. Once we start meeting with you and we're here on site, if you need to meet with us first, I'm just going to use words that other people have told me before. If you're anxious, if you can't sleep, because you want to meet with us and understand this process more, just let our team know. We're totally used to that. If you're like, hey, I cannot sleep until I meet with you all and understand what the deal is, just tell us. Our team will absolutely make sure that you're one of the first meetings, okay? And then some people will be, hiding from us for months and not wanting to see us. We'll figure that out with you all too. But it seems like everyone is neighbors and cares for each other. So if folks need to be first for meetings, we're happy to do that. You good, Nick? Okay, yes. That's fine. You can ask me on the shop.
So, in this plan, is there going to be a community center where they can come to? Will there be he did say something about, playground facilities for the kids?
Yeah.
Will there be?
What are the amenities? Yeah. So the question is, Nathan's going to grab it, is in this new development, will there be a playground, will there be a community room, what are the community spaces like?
so in the master plan, the community feedback that we gathered from you, we did hear that keeping the daycare was important. We heard that individual playgrounds here on this campus was important, not just relying on Chamber Park, because we don't always want to go over there. So there are plans, right now we're planning on rebuilding the community building almost in the same spot. So actually just beyond here, so that we can keep this building open while we're building a new community building, so there's never a disruption in services. There's always a daycare open, there's always that amenity there. So there will be a community center, there will be individual parks. We're designing them right now in and amongst the campus. Part of that feedback we got from you last time was, what do those look like? Are they more formal, like playground structures, or are they more natural play structures? Are they amenities and spaces that will accommodate the services that you told me about.
Right, the other community, building was used as office. And, basically, the big part of it, the prison fee was big enough to use as, like, they did their meetings, or they've been renting out the space for like little small baby showers or whatever. But that's what they use it for.
Yeah, and this kind of room will exist just for those purposes in the new community center.
Yes, and then I'm going over to you, okay? Yeah. Sounds like it's consolidated into one. One community center, yeah. Where will the property management office? So the question is, where will the property management office be?
Yeah, so we will, again, part of the apartment buildings will include small satellite offices so that we can have staff in and around the campus, not just in the community center. We will have other offices around the
We'll know where to go to pay them. We'll make sure. Yes, please.
A prevention question. Many of us didn't want to live in apartment buildings. Many of us didn't want to live in apartment buildings. And my question is, what is the projected time for all of the townhouses to be built in the event that it's not an event where we all have to know when we get to these apartments, what is the standing time that we'll have to stay there before we ultimately go into what we want to be?
Yeah, so the question is, many people don't want to live in an apartment building. What's the projected timeline for if they go into the new apartment building for them having that opportunity to move
No,
on?
the projected time for the end of all the phase.
For the end, for everything to be done, so then everyone can be in their respective places. Yeah, gotcha, thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to refer back to this slide that has all of our phases on it. Let's go to this side. Reach. Okay. So we're talking about doing phase 1 first. We already have the funding, and we start almost at the same time, phase 2, that'll have more townhouses. We also have the funding here for this 160 units. Now, because this is again part of why we need to move people into phase 1, so we can't obviously build people people to live in. So our goal is to start this, move everyone, and then immediately begin construction on this phase 5, that's 162 units. So what does that mean to your question? What's the time frame that someone might be obligated? Because phase 5 has more town units, you don't have to wait for the whole project to be done to move back. So it may only be 8, 9 months, it may be a year and a half, depending on which communities we want to move to and what the construction sequencing looks like. It won't be 5 years. That's not what I'm talking about. Years in that perspective. We're talking about almost a year to almost a year and a half.
A year and a half to be a perfect building before you go to your final home.
Yes.
Yes. One more time. Okay. When the buildings are demolished, everyone's to move if you don't want to move, if you don't want to stay here.
So, we've covered this in other meetings, but some questions about it. We don't want to be a part of the process here.
Other, yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's so exciting, right? I don't think I've ever had that myself. So the question is, will there be actual professional movers? Yes, there will be professional licensed audited movers. We work with a number of moving companies. We'll probably have a couple different groups. Our team will monitor them. You don't have to talk to them and get into the business. We're going to boss them around for you on the day and make sure everything's good. Yeah, and then I got you. I'm on your way next. I got you. Oh, so I'm assuming the question is, will people be able to tour the new building and see the new building before they're moving in? Yeah, I was gonna say that's gonna be fun. Everyone's gonna want to do that. I'm gonna go over here first, and then I'll come back to you. Okay?
Okay, and what about the households that have more than one adult, but they're all on lease? Will they be able to get their own, or they all got to move into the same unit?
Yeah. So the question is, and that will be also the households and what people want to do. But if there's more than one adult, I'm getting a strong head shaking no. So the question is, if there's more than one adult, will people be able to split and get 2 new units? I believe the answer is no, but then Joy's gonna answer.
So the answer from the gate would be no. You're a public housing household as you stand with adult members in your household. They would have to get, if you want to split up your family, they'd have to get on a waiting list. We're just moving
But I'm
on.
I'm already on the waiting list, and I haven't been moved yet, so how do that go?
So you're on the waiting list to go where?
To my own unit. That's what I'm saying. I've been on the waiting list for a long time.
So you just haven't been selected. So the Parkside doesn't have an open waiting list at this point in time, right? So when the development's done, they'll have an open waiting list. And then maybe you can get into that unit. But right now, we're not leasing anybody at Parkside at this point in time because these units are all coming down. So you don't live here? But
Yes, I live.
You do live here as an adult in your household and you want your own unit? Yeah, unfortunately, you still have to wait.
No, I think you misunderstand my question. I already put in my application years before y'all talk about tearing it down and doing whatever y'all about to do. Do we still get money if we put an application in, or we still gotta wait?
You still have to wait.
That don't make sense.
I'm gonna come here, and I know people are growing a little tired. I got you. So if we can just focus on each other's questions for a few more minutes, people probably all have the same questions. I'm gonna take that from here, and then I'm gonna come over to you. Okay? Yes. Let's just all try to listen to each other for a couple more minutes. So the question is, I have a 2-bedroom. I'm assuming the end of that sentence is in you don't need both bedrooms. Yeah. So the team is going to use it for a moment to right side. Yeah. Oh, Joy, do you want to? Okay. Joy gets all the unpopular questions.
So we've talked about this at every DHC property. There's situations where you're overhoused and you're underhoused, okay? So if you are one person, you only qualify for a 1-bedroom unit. And even though you've been living here for a long time in a 2-bedroom unit, as we move forward, we're not moving you now, but you will move into and qualify only for a 1-bedroom unit. Well, I'm going to tell you it's a perfect time to clean your things, or you fit them in, or you put them in storage. Now, what does underhouse mean? Underhouse means that you're in a unit, you're in a 2-bedroom unit right now, and you have 6 people in your house. That means you're underhoused. Right now, they're building 2, 3, or when you do a redevelopment, you look at the population not only that you're currently serving, but the population in the community. You do a study, and the study identified that the need, the affordable need, is 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms.
So the first question is, how many apartment buildings are going to be built? Nathan's going to do that for a minute. You have another question? Yeah. And then, so there's 8 apartment buildings being built, and then the next question is, what's the total unit count of those 8 buildings? About 200 units. Yep, everyone's got that? So 8 apartment buildings, about 200 units, and then the balance of 200 and change will be towns. 280. 280. Okay, 280, got it. Yes, right here, and then we'll have Nathan wrap us up, and we'll stay behind for any questions. Yes, please. What is it? Closets? Closet space?
Right now, we're working